Over the last semester, my students and I did an experiment of creating a classroom assistant. We had this question of, can a semi-autonomous AI help students and their teachers solve a real problem within their classroom? And some big ideas for this thing. We're going to be using AI. And what we wanted to do was first give it a mission. Something like reduce missing assignments or increase attendance or increase participation. For this experiment, we went with reducing missing assignment. Quickly on, I found that it needed to be grounded in evidence-based research. And I wanted to also have access to classroom data without violating student data privacy laws and school requirements. And I should note here the grounded in evidence is because it quickly started telling me to just repeatedly putting students' names up on the board. And I was like, no, we're not going to do that. And it's like, so we found it some evidence. But the big thing is privacy. There cannot be any student data or personally identifiable information going to the AI or any other kind of online software. The teacher needs to always be in between the students and the AI. There is no direct access between the two. Was that the AI actually builds its own offline apps for the teacher to use to process that student data. And I'm going to show you how this works here. So we have the teacher at the top. They're able to give the LMS export, giving the AI all of the information that it might need to know about the assignments and activities that are going on in the class. That can go directly to it, which is really Claude Cowork, and this is a project folder. From there, it's able to then analyze and make its own decisions, looking at its constraints, its research strategies, its missions, as well as its whole log of what are the things it's been doing, what has been working, what hasn't, what is the feedback it's been getting from everybody. And then on the other side of that student data, things that work directly with students, but then some of those apps then clean up that data so that all student information is removed. They're just simply aggregated down into just general updates like the number of missing assignments total across the class. And then that information can then be given to the AI. So with all of that information, the AI then makes its own decisions on what things it's going to be trying next, what's been working, what hasn't, and what it should focus on. And it turns that into slides for the class that it's going to be sharing with all the students, as well as instructions for the teacher, which has turned into some pretty interesting things that happened. Before we get to that, let's talk about what it is. Classroom Assistant is a free open source project that runs within Claude Cowork. It is a collection of offline apps that process the student data that were all made by the AI. It includes a custom Claude skill to create additional apps, because whatever your mission is for your AI and its personality and how it's going to interact with students, it will probably need different types of apps, and the AI will make that for you. It's a collection of evidence-based research that it can pull from, but also depending upon your students and your needs, it can go out and collect and conduct more research, find out what are the best practices, and then use those for helping inform its decisions. It has a collection of pre-made AI personalities to help you get going. It has a slide design, so we need big letters and big words and high contrast. And then to get you started, there's a whole onboarding chat that you end up having with the AI of where you're telling it about your class and what your goals are. And it's kind of this back and forth to get you set up to fully create its brain and its personality. So for my class, we ran this for a semester. My students ended up calling it Nolan AI is what they voted for. And it was funny and helpful and Irish. And Nolan is an Irish name, which I didn't know ahead of time. In that first week alone, 8 additional assignments were turned in directly because of the actions of Nolan AI, our classroom assistant. And at the end of the semester, we had about 12% fewer missing assignments that could be directly connected back to the AI's actions as it was going through in the class. And then we wanted to look at how also I had asked questions at the end, students of how they felt about the whole project as a whole. It was interesting because this is a mission where I'd say a little bit over half the students didn't need assistance with missing work. Some students really struggled with it. Other ones had no issue at all. And they kind of end up using the AI in different ways. But 42% of the students really enjoyed the personality and the jokes and the games that the AI came up with. About half think that we should continue with it next school year. Because again, a lot of the students didn't find much value in it, and that's fine. This is part of our experiment. And about 38% found that the printed missing work reminder is extremely helpful, which I'm going to show you that from one of our apps, were the things that were the most difficult in the class that they think maybe AI could help out. So it was missing number of missing assignments, but you could do a variety of things like attendance and transition times and participation. They voted on the personality and the name, and they also wanted it to have a variety of other things because some students wanted it to kind of make class more interesting than it was already. Wanted to have an ASL sign of the week and an Ojibwe word of the week, which the AI was able to do by looking at that LMS export and looking at what were the assignments we were doing, what was coming up that week, and then it was able to then generate slides and find videos that were all related to what we were going to be learning all that week in the classroom and how it could interact with the students all through me. One of the things that was the most interesting and students enjoyed the most was that it organized and really heavily promoted a tea party at the end of the first quarter for whatever class met their goal. And this really did motivate a lot of students. One of the classes reached that goal of no missing assignments, and they were able to then have that tea party. And Nolan AI told me what kind of things to get together. Project. But first, what I'm going to show you is our class tools. So this is our class tools dashboard of these are all offline apps. These are just HTML apps, HTML files that sit on the teacher's computer. No data ever leaves this or goes to the AI or any kind of web server or anything like that. It sits on the teacher's. And so what's kind of interesting is that the AI can update this also. So as we're going along, the AI will update this dashboard to kind of show us of like, what are we doing? How are we doing on our progress towards our goal? And the thing that the students found really helpful were these progress cards. And this is something that I and a lot of other teachers do, but it's a lot of time. And so my problem was that I actually didn't get to all the students whenever they needed it. I kind of focused on specific students that needed the most help, but then some students fell through the cracks. So I'm going to show you is what I do is I drop in my gradebook export here. I'm going to load in some demo class data. And down here, we'll go ahead and generate the cards. And there's a whole bunch of And so there's a variety of other apps that were created based on the evidence. So parent messaging and communication was one of the big strategies for reducing missing assignments. So my classroom assistant then developed an app to help me kind of with that process, something I was already doing, but not being as effective as I could be and was spending a lot more time, limiting my abilities. And then one of the other things here, assignments, etc., but I can't give that data to it. So I drop in my class export here. I'm going to load in our demo data. And what it'll do is it kind of generates this kind of like pulse of the class. This is just kind of our export update. And I would give this to the AI once or twice a week. And I would drop it in the folder for it so that it's able to then look at this information and be like, oh, okay, great. Here's our progress as we're going along. And it was able to do a lot of things with that limited aggregated data, which was exciting. Classroom AI, what it is a folder, and you can download it. It's open source. It's an entire repository on GitHub that goes through and has all the information, everything that you need to get going on this. So if you go over to the repository, we're just looking at the brain right there. Click on that drop down and download that zip. Then what you'll do is within Claude Cowork, you're going to go ahead and set up a new project and you're going to direct it to that folder. So you put all of your files into that folder. And now I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to start having our chat here. And you can see, so it starts off, and this is the whole onboarding process where it's going to go through and kind of ask us, get to know about what is our class like? What is its mission going to be? And this is where you as the teacher can decide if you can set this all up, or you can then kind of even ask it of like, I want my students to help create you the assistant. Give me the slides and form questions to help them contribute and vote. App Studio. So these are ideas for additional offline apps that you can create, and you can copy these prompts. And you'll notice at the beginning is that each one has this / teacher app builder. That is a custom Claude code that comes with the entire project that is kind of understands how to create these apps, that they need to be single HTML files, and it knows how to then also integrate them into here so that you're then able to work with those. And so this is a really great way of where you can then copy one of these or just simply write your own and tell it what kind of app that you want this thing to do. And so it can be something that you can be using with AI or just simple timer for the classroom, or you want it to have something where it's going to pick a random student's name or create groups. Right, we've got a seating chart with and as it continues there, I'm going to show you what one of the first slide presentations Nolan AI made for my class. So this is Nolan AI. It kind of went with the whole Irish theme. Oh, that's right. They wanted it to be dramatic. It's smart, Irish, and dramatic. So the most people voted for Nolan. We had Aleximo the Destroyer, Quintilius, and Boost AI. With an Irish accent. We had a couple of students that were then speaking with an Irish accent and volunteered to read it aloud. It was going to crush missing work. And then it kind of explained how it was going to work and interact with the students. It had some shout outs based on the messages. And then it had things that were coming up. There were a lot of students that are not fans of AI, and they're worried about it kind of turning us all into dumb humans from the movie WALL-E concerns. And then the ASL sign of the week. And I like this ending one here. It gave me very much of like kind of a Heineken vibe to it, but that's all right. So that was kind of their ending there from Nolan. And it kind of did a lot of this four-leaf clover on there. So students really enjoyed our AI has gone through. It now has the voting form. It's given us some instructions. It gave me as the teacher some instructions on things of kind of like what I should say. And then it gave us things for this form. So it's got a different questions and then the text as well as what the teacher should say. And then let's see, here is our slides. So it's our class project. Let's build our class helper together. So I like that language of helper. That's a very kind of elementary school level thing. It's a helper for our class. So it helps our teacher make cool things for us, slides, cards, and more. It's like a team helper just for our room. It talks to our teacher, not you. So it's kind of going through and explaining these different things. And now it's setting the students up so that they're able to now vote for what your thoughts are and where you think maybe a project like this should go. What can a semi-autonomous classroom assistant do in